Jay?
Hello, mate. You right?
Yes, Jay. How you doing, mate?
Hello, Joe.
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, all good, thanks. And yeah, welcome everyone to FPL FaF, the Form and Fixtures podcast. Come on, another episode, boys. Oh, this is like the
Let's
first
get it.
time we've actually all been together for ages, isn't it?
Ages has
It's been a
been
while.
so long. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Oh no, it's literally all of us, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah,
Oh,
you guys all good?
busy
Yeah,
week, but yeah, good. Looking forward to just chilling at the weekend, which would be nice.
Yeah.
exactly the
Come on,
same. Yeah,
lots of
first week
football.
back at work, and yeah, nice having the day off today, and I'm very much looking forward to the weekend for the footy as well. So, yeah, let's
Nice
bring it
one.
on, boys. Let's.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to jump straight in actually. So I was just about to ask this before we click record, but uh well, we got a few questions that we're going to go through, but uh, I just want to. So, like last week, we were talking about Brighton, and you said they'll do better against the bigger teams, James. Like,
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
so, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, like, what was it like as a Brighton fan watching that performance, and then secondly, are you going to carry it on now?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Firstly, couldn't believe it. Really. I mean, it wouldn't have surprised me had we beaten Chelsea, but 4-1, I was absolutely buzzing with the whole Potter stuff. Apparently, some fans that went to the game I know said the atmosphere was even more feisty than a Brighton Palace game. I was like, that shows how
Oh,
much
that's
people
interesting.
were just hating on Potter, and like apparently there was like blow up snakes being passed around the stadium. Like
Really?
everyone was so up for just murdering the guy and smashing the match. So I think that clearly got our players going to have a go. So yeah, in terms of the result, I was buzzing. In terms of can we keep it going against the smaller teams, I don't know. I want to say yes, but as has been proven with our sort of results, we couldn't beat Forest. Um, I think I do think I'd like to think we will still win at least one of the next two, hopefully both. Um, but don't be surprised if, like for example, Wolves this weekend, they're generally quite good defensively, aren't they? Don't be surprised to see them set up really defensively and us struggle to break them down. Um, However, that hasn't put me off a certain Brighton player for the next two games. But maybe we'll leave that to
Trossard.
transfer plans. Yeah, it has to be really, doesn't it? I do still think Trossard could. I'd be very disappointed and actually almost shocked if Trossard doesn't get a return over the next two matches.
Me too.
So I'll say that, but I don't think Wolves will make it easy for us tomorrow, or whenever we play them. I think
I
tomorrow.
I don't like. I don't know. I feel like Wolves will struggle to make it hard for anyone now. I feel like they're
The,
managerless. They've already said they're not going to get a new manager until after the World Cup. Like
Mm,
I do feel like whoever's got Wolves for the next two game weeks is definitely a win,
mm.
and it's just how
the,
many by.
Yeah, it's interesting.
the, I I partly agree. Like they can't score. I think they've scored like 4 goals in the Premier this season, but they do
Really,
set up
that's so
defensively well.
bad.
It is. They do set up defensively. Like they're very organised in that. So like them scoring, I don't think anyone would worry right now.
Mm,
It's just whether you would be able to do it yourself.
mhm.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't be worried playing them, but it's just that I'll just quickly have a check. Let me make sure I'm right about this. Yeah, for
Four
hang on.
goals.
That is so
Is it,
bad.
1 second.
That's got to be hitting the all-time worst at this stage.
It
It'd
has
be
to be.
worse than Derby, wouldn't it? Here we
That's,
go. Oh, sorry, they scored 6.
that's still awful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still absolutely terrible.
it is.
Um,
14 matches. But yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago since last weekend's
Mm,
week. Like, how was both of your? Well, actually, I just want to say, like, this has been such a mental season. Like, I listen to so many podcasts, and there is such great players. Like, it feels like it feels like when there's a bad week, everyone has this bad week. Yet
mm.
there must be like there's an average score, and like people are smashing it and still getting green arrows. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just been such an odd season. But
It's been a
yeah,
weird season.
how
Hmm.
how was your guys' game week?
Che.
Mate, every time I do something, last 4 weeks I'd say has been horrific. I bring someone in, they get injured. I've had Anthony like 3 weeks now, I think. He hasn't scored since I've had him in, which is typical FPL.
And then he was injured at the weekend.
And then he's injured, and he's saying 75% chance playing, so he may not play. Along with that, I've got 2 other possible injuries right now, but I finished last week on 49 points. It was horrific, but I did actually forget to do my team. I thought I was quite busy with stuff, and it's just out of my head, to be honest. So I was lucky. Almiron with a return, Trippier, Cancelo, and Martinelli. They're the only ones that returned. Everyone else was like 1s and 2s and stuff. But yeah, 49 points. So it's one of those things, isn't it? It's FPL. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Mate, you're still like ahead of me in the league, so literally I'm just not closing in. I closed in on you by 5 points this week. I got 54 points. And
really?
It's just constant, like Foden on the bench. I know, like, these are things that are just affecting everyone, and still like people. Yeah, I feel like probably the biggest problem is, so my team: Kepa 0, Trippier 11, Anderson 6, Cancelo 6, then Zaha, Foden, Mount, and Andreas all blanked. Saka obviously like really frustrating because if Nelson's gonna smash that, then like, oh mate, like we would have been in for a haul, man. But yeah, Saka with the 4, which I'm grateful for, and then Jesus was my captain with 18, and Mitrovic 1. Obviously Carlin was the captain, but didn't play. So 54. I didn't actually feel like it was too bad a week when I was looking at other people's teams, and then all of a sudden, when the final thing came round, I think the main thing that's killing me is just that I didn't get Martinelli back in after the Arsenal blank, and it's continued to harrow me. But yeah, I'm not going to get him in for the next 2 game weeks either, but which could be a big regret. But
I think it's fairly wise. They haven't got the easiest fixtures the next 2. Although you have got Wolves, which, as you were saying, could be. I think it's Wolves, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I could potentially bring him in for Wolves. Actually, I was thinking about that. Now you say that, but yeah, I'm definitely not bringing him for Chelsea.
No,
but yeah, how was your week, mate?
That makes sense. Yeah, it was good overall. I was really pleased with it until players returned on the Sunday, and like my green arrow was less than it was. I was a bit cheeky. I was watching to see if there's any leaked late City team news before the deadline. So I found out that my Foden was benched, and I popped in like a defender instead of him, and my defense smashed it. I had Guaita with 9 points, Gay with 6 points, Shah with 6, Trippier with 11, and Cancelo with 6. I had a good feeling that Palace. I really wanted to have a go at double Palace defense for that fixture, and double Newcastle defense, and they all came in. And then Captain Salah paid off as well. I say just because I watched the game and it was about his only chance of the match. But he got the goal, and then Martinelli as well, who finally paid me back for a hit that I took for him and Foden 2 weeks ago. So yeah, 67 points. I was really pleased, to be honest. The defense, that was the one that really was a nice feeling.
Yeah, because the defense was a big weekend for defenses last week. And yeah, man, fair play for cashing in and getting the team news as well. Like, because I don't like. There's not many accounts that I would trust enough to do that. Like to hear that info from.
I was panicking after I locked it in though, because then people were commenting saying, "Oh no, Foden is actually starting," and I was like, "I've got Foden and I've just benched Foden and Haaland. Imagine if they both end up starting and I've benched both of them." I was panicking, and then when I got the official team news, I was like relieved again that I had actually made the right call. But yeah, anyway, I feel like it went well.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
No, just I feel like I got away with it a little bit. But at the same time, yeah, it's a nice feeling to know that I made kind of brave decisions that paid off, if you like.
Well, it kind of leads us on nicely to the first 2 Man City questions. So, yeah, the first one being, will Foden play this weekend? Like, what's your guys' thoughts? Have you both got Foden?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So will he play this weekend? What's your guys' thoughts?
I think he will. I think he will. He's got to. He best do.
Why do you think he will though?
I don't know. He's been out. Did he play midweek?
Two,
I think
yeah, he played 90 minutes in the week as well. Wasn't taken off.
Mhm.
wasn't. I just think that again, it's just the form thing. Like obviously, until Haaland picks up a knock and stuff, Haaland was class, and then Foden was also. I think they complement each other so well. Um, it's again like Mahrez missed a penalty. You can't rely on anyone else unless it's De Bruyne. But it's just Pep. But I personally think he will. But I could be completely wrong. But Foden's, I think, their winger wise, he's their most what's the word? He brings the most goal contributions this season. So I think he's got to start him. But
Yeah.
Fulham are quite good, and they're going to be tough to break down. So that's some.
Just with Fulham, I would say though, I think they've conceded. They're conceding the most goals in the Prem by some distance at the moment.
Really?
Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah.
I think they're scheduled to concede 2 goals a game right now. So like they should. That's like well, yeah. Go on, James. What do you think with Foden starting?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, man. I was so peed off he played 90 minutes in the Champions League again in a dead
Me
rubber
too.
fixture that meant nothing. I thought, doesn't look good. You do wonder if there's something going on behind the scenes where Foden's annoyed Pep in some way and Pep's just like, I'll play in the games, don't matter. But what were you going to say?
There was rumours about,
yeah.
well, not even rumours, like someone, Az said that on Black Box, that he has an inkling that he's pissed him off. But I don't know, I just feel like it's just all tactical. Like he was playing so well with Haaland, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Haaland gets injured and he takes him out of the team.
100%.
One thing that I will say that was interesting that I heard today is that Foden, for some reason, just never plays against Leicester. Like someone looked through all of the previous fixtures against Leicester, and he's played in the previous game, he played in the game after, but not against Leicester. So clearly
so
there's something, yeah, and that is so Pep. Like he's so like we would love to know what's going on in his mind, but I do really worry. I feel like his comments today on Haaland was that he was back in training today and things look better, but we'll see. And I just feel like they're playing against the worst defense in the league. He's just not going to do it. Like I really fear that. Yeah, have you both got Haaland and Foden? Yeah, I think I fear that the best option this weekend is just De Bruyne and captain him. I don't think Foden will start again, and I don't think Haaland will be even in the team.
Yeah, I put down. I reckon I've said I think there's a 60% chance Foden will start. As in, I think it's pretty 50-50, but if I was gonna say one way or the other, I think I would say he might start because he is due a start in the Prem. He won't be that tired because he's had a couple of rests. He is one of their main players. He's proven to be pretty undroppable by Pep, unless there is something really bad behind the scenes. I'd like to think that the chances are he has a higher chance of starting than not, but it's still so in doubt because of what we've said. And also, I think Pep basically said Grealish was brought for half time in the other game. We said something along the lines of Grealish. He basically hinted that Grealish is going to start this one, which then leaves one position sort of on a right wing for Foden.
Which
or
he's
he
been
could play
better at.
midfield, but yeah. So I don't know. I think Foden, if I had to say, I think he might, but it's really up in the air. And then with what you said on KDB, I think if you want peace of mind for a captain this week, he is the safest, like, good choice captain this week. There's no other safe, good choice, I don't think, this week, in my opinion. What do you guys think on that?
I partly agree. I will just say I think if you're going with a Newcastle defender this week, that would be a pretty safe bet as well.
Interesting.
That's all. They're solid at the back. I think they have the joint best defensive record at the moment. Someone correct me if
They
I'm
are
wrong.
doing well, yeah.
And they just seem solid. And Southampton, a bit hit and miss, not scoring loads. I think, potentially, a defender, Trippier, because he's, corners, free kicks, set pieces,
Yeah.
maybe worth it. But if you've got Kevin De Bruyne, then you can't ever go wrong with him, really.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What are you thinking, John? Are you considering getting De Bruyne in, or
No,
who
so
would you
I've got
captain at
no
the
way
moment?
of getting KDB, unfortunately. So I had 2 transfers this week, and my biggest dilemmas were Madison, Trossard, and Almiron,
Huh.
and I've ended up making them. And then after I made them, I was like, I didn't even consider KDB, and now I'm like, and after I was listening to Black Box, I was like, oh man, KDB is probably the one this week actually. I would much rather have KDB than Foden for the next 2 fixtures. Like if Haaland's fit and we know Haaland playing, then I think Foden's playing with him. I don't think there is anything behind the scenes because I don't believe Pep would play him in midweek. Like I just don't think that's how he works. I think if there's something behind the scenes, then he's got an issue with him and he's not playing full stop.
That's true. Yeah.
So for me, I do think KDB has got high potential to be the highest scoring player this weekend. But if the question is, if you've got KDB and Haaland, who do you captain? I think you still captain Haaland, wouldn't you?
It's a bit of a risk because he can come on for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
whereas
that's the thing.
if you've got De Bruyne and he's going to start 100%, he's probably the better shout. If you're lucky and Haaland starts, then you probably go with him. If Fulham's defensive record is that bad, so personally, Haaland wouldn't be my captain this week. Just for that, I don't have De Bruyne.
What? So if you both had both of them, you wouldn't actually captain Haaland?
Not this week, just as the uncertainty. I'd definitely captain De Bruyne.
Really?
Both, yeah.
I think I'd do if I didn't have any pre-match news. I think I would captain De Bruyne, start Haaland.
Really?
Just because of the safe points. Like I'd feel like if Haaland starts, then yeah, I'll get less than I would have done. But at least I know if I captain De Bruyne, I'm probably guaranteed to get a decent captain return.
Yeah.
And I'd rather that and still get some Haaland points than get a Haaland, like Jay said, 10 minutes off the bench, double one is 2. And then, that feels worse for me than the other way around, which is why if I had a decision to make, I'd do that. But
maybe that's why I'm so low because I just I wouldn't be able to risk not captaining Haaland. I just feel like the risk, like KDB, there was a game not that long ago when Haaland got his hat-trick. There was a lot of KDB captainers and they got so punished from...
That was me. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It was horrible, yeah.
Yeah.
I just got benched for that, didn't he?
Because I do think, like, even Haaland, if he comes off the bench for 10 minutes, there's a chance of a brace there. Like...
Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Against Fulham, man. Against Fulham.
What a brace in 10 minutes. That's I mean, you never know.
I mean, Haaland's got a hat-trick in about 15 minutes, isn't he?
I know. I know.
He could definitely get it. There's no doubt about that. It's just the risk, isn't it? It's like, I'd rather a 90-minute De Bruyne against Fulham than a 10-minute Haaland against Fulham.
Yeah. Well,
that's the only thing.
I am surprised, but, like, everything you're saying makes sense. I just don't... Yeah, I mean, so are any of you going to bring in a KDB?
I already used my things and one of them got injured already. It was really annoying. I bought in Wilson, right? I done it literally at a weekend. I was like, I'm getting him in. He's just smashing it right now. He's playing Southampton. And he was going to be my captain. And now he's potentially injured.
No, he's just ill. Yeah, he's just ill. Like... And he was ill on Monday. So like I think he's going to be fine by
Oh, you should be all right then. Yeah,
like
hopefully.
he did his podcast on Monday and he like had the sniffles and said he was like off training, but I don't think that'll keep him down, especially with 2 games to the World Cup. Well, this is the final game before the World Cup's announced, isn't it? The squad.
Oh, is it next
Oh,
week?
gosh.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's Thursday next week. So
Oh,
I just don't see that holding Wilson down.
No, he wants to play.
yeah.
Well,
He said he brings something different, doesn't he? So he'd want to be there. So
Mhm.
he
that kind
deserves
of
to.
brings me on to my next question. So
Mhm.
this really ties into the Wilson one because I haven't gone with Wilson, and it's not because I don't want him. I just don't want to take Mitrovic out of my team. So yeah, so basically, well, what have I actually written here? So will Mitrovic do well against do well against the City defense that concedes? So I feel like I've listened to a lot of people over the last 2 weeks saying they're ready to dump Mitrovic before the City game,
Mm.
and like I'm not gonna lie, I was tempted by bringing in Wilson. I was, but I just don't feel I feel like Mitrovic is pretty fixture proof. He's in form, and like it's actually the City games where they're gonna be perfect for him because they're gonna counter attack, and that's like where he's probably at the most dangerous. So I
Mm.
do think I just am not in a rush to get Mitrovic, and like the pretty much the story of my season is having players, keeping them for so long, and then getting rid of them right before they actually haul. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just think like with a Mitrovic, I'm quite content with just owning him for the season, to be honest.
Mhm.
But I guess the question comes, like more to the point of this week, like what do you think Mitrovic will do against City's defense slash him versus Wilson?
Uh, yeah, Jay.
Sure. I'm with you there, John. I've still got him in my team. He can definitely score. You know, City's defense hasn't been that great this season. They're still pretty good defensively, but if he gets half decent opportunity, is every chance that he could score. So yeah, I've kept him in. He definitely could score. No issues with that.
Did
I've put Wilson in as well, so I've got Haaland. Well, Haaland will be there, but obviously not sure if he's starting. Mitrovic and Wilson as my front three.
did you replace Tony for? Was it Tony
For
Wilson?
yeah, for
Yeah,
Wilson, yeah.
yeah. That's got to be one of
Uh,
the most transferred ones this
Yeah,
week. Tony
yeah,
out. It's
probably,
kind of
yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
I think
I'm
it
not
was.
gonna lie. Like, obviously, I don't wish anything bad upon you two, but I'm so hoping like all of these people that transferred Tony to Wilson, like after suffering from the Foden to Trossard move, I hope all of you suffer.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. I do think if I had a choice between the two, I would want Wilson. For just because of the fixture. I
Yeah.
don't think Southampton make. Well, I don't know. They made it harder for Arsenal, but I think I think with Mitrovic's, I'd be happy either way this week. Like I'm in a situation at the moment where he's either going to be my first sub or scrape into my first 11, and I'm happy either way. Like I don't think he would get more than one goal against City. A bit like with Trossard when he scored at City. Like yeah, he might get a goal, but he also might not. But I don't think he'll get more than one. So it's like one of those where, yeah, you could if you have him in your team, I think you could well get a return out of him this week. But if he's on your
Yeah.
bench, I don't think he's going to punish you with a haul. So that's my standing on him, to be honest.
Interesting. Yeah, I do feel like I get a bit clouded with Southampton as well because, like, over the years they have had a really good home defensive record,
Mm.
and it still feels like you don't have a clue what Southampton are going to turn up, like how energetic, how yeah, just you just never know what they're going to do.
Mm.
But yeah, like I can't see Wilson not scoring this weekend, like his final weekend before the World Cup squad's announced.
That's tempted me what you said there.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like in the Newcastle change from it will be the same as Arsenal. Like, guys, two more wins. That's all you need to do. Get your 2 more wins, and we go into the next half of the season absolutely flying, like with a fresh restart. Like, so I think Newcastle were going to be so up for this. I'm
100%.
I'm worried that Wilson could hit 2 or 3, but
Same.
I've got no option now.
Yeah, I'm braving it about him this week, I think, but I'm nervous. So,
Yeah.
I'll tell you who I'm bringing in relation to one of your other questions.
Oh, okay. Well, go for it. What was the question?
Oh, it was your one about top 5 midfielders this week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So top 5 midfielders this week. What are your thoughts?
So KDB, I think, as we've discussed, would be my first choice if I could. I'm not going to, but yeah, he would be the one. I have actually put Foden, but in brackets if starting. So again, I am going to be the sweaty guy that's looking at the pre-match news tomorrow again to help me make my decision.
No, yes, it's smart play, man. If you can get hold of it and trust it.
Yeah, there was some of the guys I watched that do like YouTube videos on it. They were confident that if this particular source gives some news, they're like it's 99% correct. And they were basically just going to tell you like if that comes through or not. So
do you want me to put it in the description of the
it could do.
video?
I don't actually know what it's called. I was just watching the streamers to tell me what they were like. This is the the source has come through or whatever. So yeah, if I find it, I'll let you know. But yeah, so Foden, if he's starting, I'll find out he's starting. He'd be in my top 5 because he could definitely haul against Fulham. And then the other 3 a bit more interesting. So Rashford and Trossard are the two guys I'm bringing in with my 2 free transfers. They're sort of 2 players I'm going to enjoy seeing them return if they return. I like both of them as players. They're both in good form. Rashford looked brilliant in his last match. He looks really like back up to the old Rashford. Trossard's just looking brilliant every game. And they're sort of semi-differential in the sense of some people have them, but not everyone has them. So yeah, so KDB, Foden, Rashford, Trossard, and then I couldn't leave out Miguel Almiron as number 5 with his current form. I'm expecting his form to drop any game now.
Man, I
but
know.
With the form he's in at Southampton, I think he deserves a place in the top 5 this week.
I think I'm sure everyone thinks of this as well, but I just think of like the Gundogan run like out of nowhere. I think it was like 9 games that he continuously went on, and then he had one blank, and then went on another 3, I think.
Yeah,
3 or 4, and then it just went fell off the earth again.
Yeah,
but like like lots of people have said about the position change and stuff. But James, we didn't actually say this last week, but you actually did call Almiron at the start of the season. Like
I did, yeah.
We had a few shouts, and like Almiron was one of your shouts, so fair play.
Cheers.
Did you? You didn't have him at the start though, did you?
No, because I still don't have him now. I don't trust him. I don't trust. I love him, but I don't trust him. Every game week, I just think this is going to be the week that he proves why he only got 5 returns in like 2 or 3 seasons at Newcastle, or 5 seasons, or something ridiculous. There's a reason why he has barely returned over years of Premier League football. But yeah, he's on form, so you can't look past him. Jay, what are you going to say?
No, I agree. I just wanted to know. I just want to know the logic behind it, because you praising him, but you just didn't put him in. So there's a bit of like the doubt, but you've just said why, which is fine. It's understandable.
Yeah, it was basically that.
Yeah,
the doubt's always there with him. I think if he continues like after the World Cup for 3-4 games, I'll probably be too late to the party by then. But yeah, it's getting to a point where I can't ignore him anymore. But I think I'm going to hold out to the World Cup.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt this week. So my two transfers this week were, um, and I really didn't want to do this, even though Chelsea are looking so crap. Like, even though Chelsea have had their wins, they haven't looked very good, and it was quite nice seeing Brighton absolutely trash them. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was so shocked when I heard the halftime score. But yeah, so I took out Mason Mount. And when I put him in, I said to myself, like, just leave him in there, like, for a good while, because I'm so sick of having these players in for like 5, 6 weeks, do nothing, and then they return the week
Yeah.
after. But then I was just looking at Chelsea's fixtures, like Arsenal and Newcastle. Like,
Mm,
there is not much logic to keeping hold of Mason Mount versus those two
no.
fixtures. So I brought in Trossard, which I again, like, I've got rid of Trossard like 2 weeks ago. I didn't want to bring him in, but I felt like his fixtures are just too good to miss.
Mhm.
Um, and um, and yeah, I bought in Almiron as well for
Fair
Andreas
play.
Pereira. Which, yeah, like Pereira, a straight upgrade from Pereira to Almiron is a good move, because Newcastle are
Mm,
obviously sitting fourth in the league. Fulham aren't having a very good season, but are
yeah.
Fulham going to outscore Newcastle? Probably not. And Almiron's even playing more forward than um than him
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like what I did. I've brought in two players that are going to go straight into my starting 11 for one who would have been in my starting 11 and one who would be on the bench. So you've gained yourself an extra starter, haven't you?
well,
The bare minimum.
I do have a question. So, um, I, I'll come back to the midfielders if I've got time, like, on my thoughts. But I do just sort of want to ask you guys a question, like, more. It is about my team, but it's just interesting to hear what you guys would think. So, right now, I've got Zaha and Anderson on the bench. Now, lots of people took out Zaha this week, after his, like, patchy form.
Mm.
Oh, and also Palace just not scoring goals. Um, I'm sure, Jay, you don't need reminding now after Brighton have just smashed it 4-1 at Chelsea. But yeah, so I've got Zaha and Anderson on the bench, and with that, I've got a midfield of Almiron, Foden, Trossard, Saka, and then a strike force of Jesus, Haaland, and Mitrovic. And
Sounds good.
yeah, I don't like the idea of Zaha and Anderson. Well, I'm not so fussed about Anderson, but Zaha being on the bench, because if I own Zaha, I want to be playing him because
Mm.
he can do it in any fixture. But what would you guys, out of that team, would you leave him on the bench?
Could you say who you got again? Sorry.
So Almiron, Foden, Trossard, Saka, and then Jesus, Haaland, and Mitrovic. So Zaha could come on for Haaland anyway. Um, but yeah.
Oh mate, it's a tough one. Um, Everyone you said I would actually start. I'd have him as first sub in case Haaland don't start. The only reason I say that is it depends who starts and which tactics Vieira wants to play. Like one week he'll play like attacking, pressing football, right? And that's when we're likely to do something. But then another day or another even half even, um, he'll just sit back and it turns into Roy Hodgson. Generally, the perfect example of that, I don't know if you guys watched it, was Palace Southampton, right? First half, we battered them, right? All over them. I think they had one or two shots maximum. Second half, we literally sat back. I think we had one shot in the second half. We were dominating the game in sense of not necessarily possession. We had a little bit more than them, but just we were creating chances, right? We were shooting, attacking, and pressing.
Mm.
Then the second half, he just goes pure Hodgson and just sits back, and they absolutely batter us. I think they hit the post. It's because Gaeta made like three, four good saves.
Mm.
If it wasn't for him, we would have lost. But it annoys me because if we just continued how we were the first half, I think we would have won comfortably. You know, so it's just difficult. So if we play sit back football, West Ham are a good team. They're solid. Which I think we're probably going to sit back a bit over the weekend. We're going to have to hope that Zaha, Elise, they do something.
Hmm.
There's also rumours of Edouard, who's had a knock. Apparently, he trained today. But if he doesn't start, then you've got Marteta, who's all right. He's just a big hold-up player. But I would definitely start Zaha on the bench as your first sub. Just with the people that you've got, there's more likelihood that
that they get a goal.
again, if we press and stuff, I think we could definitely score against West Ham. You know, West Ham, good team, it could go either way. What I think at the moment is we won't win. Just what I've seen over the last few weeks. As I said last week, it wound me up because I was sitting there all happy. I was like, it's going to be comfortable, 2-3-0. And then second half, fair play Southampton, they come out. They had nothing to lose. They had to attack. But we just sat back and literally his most Roy Hodgson performance I've seen us play under Vieira in that second half. So it just wound me up.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Like and Palace I think have only got 13 goals this season. So like again, it's not it's not a lot. We're in the final 2 minutes, guys. Did you guys have any final questions or any final things you wanted to touch on? Have you still got Salah, James?
I have, but I won't when I make the transfers. Trossard and Rashford are going to come in for Salah and Pereira and Andreas Pereira.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about it, but not too much. I feel a lot better with Rashford and Trossard, and then I've got some money to have fun in the last game week. So yeah, real quick on that. Your question about the Spurs Liverpool. Yeah, my mind has changed. The way Spurs are playing, the way Liverpool are playing, I don't think either of them are going to destroy each other. It's either going to be a really rubbish game when none of them can do anything, or it's going to be a high scoring like draw or something because they can't defend.
So Fabrizio Romano said Kulusevski's back for the game.
Is he?
Apparently so.
Oh wow!
So he is all of a sudden, I mean, like whether he's actually going to start or not, but I feel like it will be a very. I think Liverpool should edge it really. Like
I think they will. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a massive. It's not going to be a one-sided game. I don't think, but I think Liverpool are going to push it.
Yeah,
both out of form. Anything could happen. I think that game, but
definitely.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting for sure.
Final 30 seconds. Anything else?
I've got nothing. Good luck. Hopefully,
West Ham's left back Cresswell is the defender I would punt for. That's your final
thought. Oh, that's a good shout, man. Yeah, I agree. He's coming close as well. He's come close a couple of times now. All right, guys. Well, have a great game week, and we'll see you next Monday then.
Cheers, lads.
See you later. Have a good
week.
Guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.